Have my fellow actors been treating you guys nice?
Yes, they've been very kind to
You don't
us.
have to take anybody to the shed.
They told all the secrets in the new season, so you can go ahead too.
They've already
Well,
told everything.
Dana tells everything, so he wrote it. So you gotta take your cue off him.
So to start us off, do you want to say your name and like your involvement in the show, maybe some info on your characters as well?
I'm John C. McGinley. The show is Stand Against Evil. I'm Stan. I'm the producer of the show, and we're going into season 3, guns blazing.
Now, they told us it was just 24 days of filming, which is everything was just crammed in. How do you like that? Just sort of balls to the wall.
I've come to like that shooting schedule. At first, it's very disconcerting because it seems impossible and an invitation for mediocrity because pace and speed carry the day, not necessarily quality when you're looking at it on a schedule. So if there's 15 pages a day, that's absurd. And then you figure out how to do it. So the trade-off with IFC is that they give us very little money, but they give us creative autonomy. And so at this point, I'll take the creative autonomy so Dana and I can make the show as subversive as we want to. With the hero, Stan, is the biggest anti-hero on TV because he'll do the right thing just so he doesn't fucking have to hear about it. Not because it's the right thing, or he wants to be a champion, or he wants the accolades. He just doesn't want to hear about it. I want to watch that guy. And so Dana crafted that character, and he's yielded all these dividends that we can play off of.
Would you say that's what attracted you to this project, like seeing him as a character in the show and like being intriguing?
What attracted me to the piece originally was how damaged Stan is. And having played Dr. Cox for 9 years, writers can write damaged characters without making them redundant. So in other words, once Romeo gets Juliet, it's like, whatever, the leading man gets the leading girl and who cares? Writers, because a lot of writers are wonderfully damaged. They can write from their college of experiences. So the reason Dr. Cox never got redundant is because writers can write that guy. And Dana wrote this really damaged guy who in the first episode of Stand Against Evil lost his job of 27 years, lost his wife of 27 years, and has nothing. I'm like, we got to explore that loss. And he wasn't prepared for that, but he's so nimble and he's so intellectually agile that he just moved in that direction. I said, I want to explore Stan's loss, otherwise you definitely should get someone else. And I wasn't being arrogant. I was just telling him to stop my life and move to Atlanta for hopefully 5 or 6 years. That's what you hope something's going to go. This guy can't just be Mr. Grouchy guy, because who cares? I'm changing the channel. I said, I want to see how he's reconciling this loss. Now, I'll play that guy. And Dana was true to his word. That's exactly what he did.
So you speak very highly of like how deep this character was. Is there anything that you did to prepare for this?
No, loss is immediately accessible to me, and it doesn't matter why, but it's immediately accessible to me. And so to not mind that, for an actor to have that, and for us not to dig into it and dust it off and look at it is a huge miscalculation.
And so, in the first season, he was dealing with these losses that just happened. In the second season, we saw him actually time travel to try to change the way things were. Will it be continuing on into season 3, or will he sort of be able to move past?
What Dana and I did with season 3 for Stan was that because, as you exactly put it, the first year was trying to reconcile loss, second year was trying to bring his wife back, and that all failed. And so he's left as this completely healthy failure. And so what's he supposed to do about that? And so what we did with season 3 was we decided that Stan, in order to move forward, would have to go against everything he's ever learned in his life. And for such a stubborn donkey like Stan to have to go against everything he's ever learned, which is anathema to him, that's good, clean fun. And so that's what we made the protagonist do this year. That everything he's ever learned was either inadequate or not enough or wrong. And so he was going to have to go against every instinct he ever had, which for Stan is arguably impossible, but that's what his journey is in season 3. And it yielded profound dividends.
And does Evie help him sort of evolve in that way?
Always. You got to remember, because Janet's so great, and she's kind of like in, screwball comedies are defined by the protagonist being a female, and because Janet is as like Rosalind Russell and Kate Hepburn, she is very equipped to play a screwball tone, and Janet largely drives most of the narratives in Stan, where Stan becomes kind of reactionary. In Screwball, she has to initiate, and she's capable of doing that. And so we've catered the piece to play to Janet's strengths, which are Screwball, and that's an impossible tone to play. That's why hardly anybody does it. But Janet can do it with just great elan, and it looks like she's not even trying.
What are maybe some things you can tell fans like think they're going to expect from the new season?
We went a little goofy on the witches and the wizards and the demons this year. We for Stan figures out that to progress forward here, he decides that the rationale is to defeat evil, you have to find a bigger evil. You got to find evil's boss and let a little in. And the thinking was like with the Allies in World War II, they let Stalin. They were paired up with Stalin, who killed 40 million of his own people. They paired up with Stalin to beat Hitler. And Stalin's arguably the worst person in the history of the planet. And so Stan thinks, well, I can apply that to killing witches. And so he decides that to defeat evil, you got to find a bigger evil and let a little in. And that's the arc. That's the Uber arc for this season.
So it sounds like, talking to everybody else, it just sounds like the whole thing is just a very fun time.
It's not that fun. That's what people used to ask me about like Platoon and The Rock and Scrubs. It's not that fun. It's just Scrubs 16 hours, 17 hours a day. I never saw my family. This sometimes it's fun. You're in Atlanta, which is ass hot, and we're working the actors to death, and they all have this unbelievably great attitude. And if they didn't, I don't know what we'd do. But Billy Lawrence on Scrubs always had this production mantra that he wouldn't abide any assholes on the set, because it was a closed set, it was a closed hospital, everybody was right next to each other, and same with Stan, and we have no assholes on the set because it's not always fun, and you still have to make do. Sometimes it's a hoot, but sometimes it's 4 a.m. and a snake just crawled between your legs because we're out in the swamp. That's not that fun for us New Yorkers. We're like, I don't want to see a fucking snake. A snake just crawled between my motherfucking legs. I want a snake.
They were sugarcoating it.
Maybe they're having more fun than I am. Maybe I should stop producing the piece.
What has been your favorite scene to film over the last 2 seasons?
I would say that walk and talk we did, Janet and I did at the finale of season 2 in 208 last year. When we're walking towards the cabin, and I tell her I'm going to go get Claire. And it was wildly ambitious. It was about a 2-minute walk and talk through the woods and up to that cabin. And Dana was not afraid to let the actors groove into some emotional shit. And for a 21-minute and 30-second half-hour horror sitcom to all of a sudden have the 2 leads start digging into some real stuff felt like a wild leap of faith, and everybody, the ratings shot up, and so we took that and we did it more this year because it's what I was talking about before. It's the people, almost everyone understands loss. I don't care if you're a kid on the playground. People understand loss. It's part of the human condition, and when we started to groove into that, the ratings went up. So guess what you groove into more? Loss. Which is what I said in the fucking beginning. I want to explore loss.
Yeah, because we saw Stan kind of go to that place towards in season 2 where he explored his loss with his wife and maybe even like staying in that spot, that space. And so will he deal with those emotions
Yes.
more?
100%.
I thought that was really brilliant.
I thought Dana, for him to do that in that the finale of season 2 was, it took some spine. You know, 'cause everybody wants you to chase witches and crack a joke, and Dana's like, well, no, what's going on? Because McGinley's been talking about loss for 2 seasons now. Let's put some meat on the bone for it. I'm like, yeah, put some fucking meat on the bone, and it felt good. It felt really good, and we wove a lot of that tone into season 3. And all the actors ran with it. I can't wait for you to see it.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, you guys.